The doctor had said words like exhaustion, depression, psychosomatic pain, but none of them explained the weight in his chest or the way mornings felt like something he had to survive rather than live. Friends had stopped calling. Not because they didn't care, he told himself that, but because he had become quiet in a way that made people uncomfortable. Silence that asked for nothing, yet accused everyone of something. So he packed his old fishing rod, the one his father had given him years ago, and drove out before dawn to a river far from the city, a place where no one knew his name, a place where he didn't have to explain why he felt broken. The river was calm, almost painfully beautiful. Mist hovered just above the water, like the river was breathing slowly, carefully, as if afraid to wake itself. He sat on a flat stone near the bank and stared at the water for a long time before even casting the line. He wasn't really there for the fish. He was there because the river didn't ask questions. As the sun began to rise, his hands started to shake, not from the cold, but from the familiar anxiety that crept in when he was alone with his thoughts. He closed his eyes and breathed, counting like the therapist had taught him. In, out, in, out. That was when he heard footsteps on wet grass. He turned, startled, half annoyed at being pulled back into the world. She stood a few meters away, holding a small thermos and wearing a long coat that looked too thin for the morning air. Her hair was loosely tied, strands escaping and catching the light. She didn't look at him immediately. She looked at the river first, the way someone does when they're greeting an old friend. "I didn't mean to disturb you," she said softly, noticing him at last. "I usually come earlier." He shrugged. "It's fine. The river doesn't belong to me." She smiled at that. Not a polite smile, something warmer, something that lingered. They stood in silence for a moment, two strangers sharing the same quiet without trying to fill it. That alone felt unusual, comfortable. "I'm Anna," she said finally. "Daniel," he replied, surprised at how strange his own name sounded out loud. She sat down a little distance away, close enough to share the same view, far enough to respect his space. She poured coffee from her thermos, the smell rich and grounding. "You come here often?" she asked. "First time," he said. "You?" She nodded. "When things get loud inside my head." He looked at her then, really looked. There was something in her eyes, sadness, yes, but not raw. More like something that had been carried for a long time and learned how to sit quietly. He felt an unexpected ache, recognition. They talked slowly, carefully, like people stepping onto thin ice, about the river, about the weather, about nothing important, and yet somehow everything felt important. Time moved differently near the water. After a while, Daniel's hands began to tremble again. Stronger, his chest tightened, breath catching in sharp rasps, shallow pulls. He tried to hide it, turning away, but she noticed. "Hey," she said gently, "are you okay?" He wanted to lie. He wanted to say yes, because that's what people expect. But something in her voice, steady, present, made the lie feel impossible. "No," he said quietly, "I'm really not." The words fell into the space between them like stones into deep water. She didn't rush to fix it, didn't give advice. She simply shifted closer, enough that he could feel her presence without being touched. "You don't have to explain," she said. "But you don't have to be alone either." That was when something inside him cracked. He told her things he hadn't planned to say out loud, about the nights he couldn't sleep, about waking up already tired, about the constant feeling that he was failing at being a person. He told her how sometimes the pain felt physical, like his body was punishing him for something he couldn't remember doing wrong. His voice broke more than once. He didn't try to stop it. Anna listened, truly listened. Her eyes didn't wander. Her phone stayed in her pocket. She nodded sometimes, not to hurry him along, but to let him know she was still there. When he finished, he felt exposed, small, ashamed. Instead of pulling away, she reached out and placed her hand near his, not touching, just close. "I know that place," she said. "I lived there for years." He looked at her surprised. "I lost someone," she continued. "And after that, I lost myself. People thought time would fix it. Time doesn't fix anything. It just teaches you how to carry it." Something warm and painful rose in his chest. They spent the rest of the morning together, not fishing much, talking more, sometimes sitting in silence, watching the river move like it had all the answers. When they finally stood to leave, Daniel felt something unfamiliar, reluctance. "Will you come back?" he asked, the question escaping before he could stop it. Anna smiled. "I was hoping you'd ask." They began meeting at the river regularly. At first, just mornings, coffee, quiet conversations. Slowly, the walls between them softened. Daniel still had bad days. Days when his body felt heavy, when his thoughts turned dark and cruel. But now, sometimes, Anna was there. Sometimes just a message. "I'm here. You don't have to answer." And that made all the difference. One afternoon, the pain hit him harder than usual. A panic attack that left him shaking on his apartment floor, convinced something terrible was about to happen. He called her without thinking. She came immediately. She didn't try to make it stop. She sat with him, breathed with him, held his hands when he finally allowed himself to be held. "You're not broken," she whispered. "You're hurting. There's a difference." That night, when the storm inside him finally quieted, he cried, not from fear, but from relief. Weeks passed, then months. Their connection deepened, quietly, naturally. A touch of hands, a shared laugh, a kiss that felt less like fire and more like warmth after a long winter. Daniel didn't magically become okay, but he became more honest, more open. He learned that love wasn't about being saved, it was about being seen. One evening, back at the river where it all began, he told her, "I think you met me at my worst." Anna shook her head. "No, I met you when you were brave enough to show it." The river flowed on, steady and patient, as if it had known all along. And for the first time in a long while, Daniel believed that maybe, just maybe, life wasn't something he had to escape from. Maybe it was something he could learn to stay for.